One person who does is the Conservative MP for Enfield North, Nick Du Bois. He joins me on the line now. Nick, good evening.
Good evening, Ian.
Now, you've just been to Bangladesh on a parliamentary trip. You've looked at how some of our aid money is being spent. I know you've got some concerns about it. What are they?
Yes, I actually went out with the Conservative Friends of Bangladesh, which was a trip funded by British Bangladeshi people who've been quite successful, and they're trying to put money back into local projects and charities out there. But basically, what I came across was some really shocking areas that I felt were not benefiting from our international aid programs. Even if, however, you read the glossy brochure, you would think that these were exactly the type of projects that were benefiting. So I came back with some concerns, which I put to the representative, the head of DFID, out there, and frankly, I wasn't given, in my opinion, very satisfactory answers as to the value we're getting. So, if you like, I can chat through one or two examples with you. Well,
I think it's always helpful in these conversations to have those kind of examples. So, what's being done badly in Bangladesh?
Well, put it in context. So we spend about 190 million of British aid money in Bangladesh, and to be fair, some of it is doing some great work, some cataract work, saving people's eyes, letting them then lead a much better quality of life and have a chance to get on. So I put that in context. But let's take this. Something like 20 to 25 million is allocated for education. So part of the Millennium Goals are, if you can educate people who've come from impoverished areas, got a better chance of improving their life and ultimately a sustainable local economy. Now, the problem is, DFID out there will allocate a chunk of money to either a private organisation, a non-governmental organisation, or a government organisation to effectively manage and distribute that money. Now, the 25 million or so for education is given to a government department in Bangladesh that then allocates the money. The problem is, in Bangladesh, the government actually adopt some schools, and others they don't, which are often the ones in the most impoverished areas needing the most help. So not surprising, the money that is given to the government body goes to the schools that are under the adoption of the government. So when I was walking in a slum, which frankly makes claims of poverty in this country, they need to get a bit of perspective. I came across a school of hope, it's called, that costs about £1,200 a month to run, that is giving hope to some fantastic young kids who are living in the most appalling, disgusting conditions in a slum. And yet, none of our money is going there to help those kids get an education and a better life. And I find this just bureaucracy and lack of thought about where we're meant to be aiming our money. And that's just one example of where I think they're missing the target. They are, I'm afraid.
Well, what did the DFID representative have to say about that?
Well, I went to a very pleasant lunch in the comfort of the High Commission to meet a number of representatives. And frankly, it was just a bit bizarre, because I think they weren't expecting many challenging questions, and myself and Bob Blackman, MP for Harrow, and Anne Main for St Albans did just that. And I'm afraid what we got was, we'll look into it, because I said this is something that's got to be looked at. I'm afraid there wasn't an explanation. Now, to be fair, the chap's been there a year and a half and probably wasn't expecting some of these questions, and I've urged them that they've got to rethink where they're going. But then I think, something that I was trying to explain this point, the British taxpayer, who's very sceptical about international aid, also will struggle with the idea that aid money is going to advocacy and seminars that are there to train people from, I suspect, in relatively low-income areas and impoverished areas. They get seminars on how to claim their rights from the government. And then they go from a seminar to having people paid for by our international development money to help them fill out the forms and make claims and so forth. Now, one might think, well, that is quite useful. But I think international aid should be designed to help build sustainable development, actually improve life chances. And the fact that we paying money to organisations to run seminars and training courses and help people fill out forms, albeit to help educate them on their rights, I don't think that's a priority. Not when we're leaving schools in slums without £1,000 a month to help run.
GP London has tweeted while we've been talking, Iain, you make some stupid statements. People are queuing for food at food banks in this country. Is that not poverty? I wouldn't say it was on the same level as poverty that you've described there.
It's a relative poverty, and I think it's fair that we can talk about relative poverty. But, you know, we do have a social security system here. We've been talking about capping the benefits system here. Now, of course, there's homeless people. There are people outside that trap, and they rely on charities to look after them. But there is relative poverty in this country. Now, look, Ian, I come from the centre-right of the party, and I'm probably one of those people you might expect to say I don't support international aid at all. Well, I do. I don't like the idea of a target of spending 0.7% of GDP, because I think that just drives people to spend money and not think about the outcome. But it is impossible not to recognise the argument that if we can help people improve their own lives, that ultimately is better for all of us, not least those individuals. You know, why are we spending money in Bangladesh on a company, I think it's an organisation called Maxwell Stamp, which was raised in the Telegraph, that provide community legal services? And when we dug deep into this, when we spoke to DFID about this, they said, well, this is for settling disputes over land ownership. Now, I couldn't get to the bottom of this. I refuse to think that we are spending money on people who own land to sort out disputes. That would just be ridiculous. So I have to hope and pray that's not the case. But why is that a priority in tackling the Millennium Goals, which include, obviously, tackling deep first-hand poverty? So there's lots of questions to be asked. But I don't want to take away, DFID, having said that, working with organisations like BRAC, which is originally a Bangladeshi organisation, they are doing, you know, a good chunk of fantastic work there. But we're over-dependent on outsourcing chunks of money to like 10 or 11 prime contractors that then choose where it goes. And I think that's where the administration and the decision-making is not
well, I did tell Lynn Featherstone about some of your concerns, and she would quite like to hear from you about them. So no doubt you can catch her in one of the lobbies when Parliament comes back. Nick Dubois, thank you very much indeed for telling us about your experiences in Bangladesh.